Hello, Oracles. My goodness, holy macaroni, we have a lot of news to unpack that came out of Tesla over the last 2 days. We got the official release of Master Plan Part 3, we got the annual report, we got the filing telling us that we are going to be getting the annual shareholder meeting on May 16th. That's the proxy statement that we got saying that we've got some news about JB Straubel, some news about Tom Jew. Lots of stuff to unpack, so I haven't had a chance to dive into detail into all of it. I will give you guys the summary of everything that I have seen so far, and we will get into more details tomorrow night on the live stream. So we'll get into the summary of events in just a minute. All right, so first a quick look at the stock performance today, down 0.25%, not a big deal. After hours, with the proxy statement getting released, basically flat. No big movements. We're kind of still consolidating in this area, been dropping slightly. We did have Kimball Musk, who had come out yesterday and it was pre planned sales. He exercised one of his options and then sold off all of the shares from those options. So it was basically a wash. But as some people had pointed out, every single time Kimball has done this, it has marked a top. Now, Elon selling has also marked tops. So, I'm not sure what we can take from this. We look at the macro environment. We have the jobs report coming out tomorrow. We've got the CPI and PPI coming out next week. Maybe we end up coming down from here. I don't know. But again, when it comes to long-term shareholders, none of that really matters in the near term. So what I'm really wanting to pay attention to for a long-term shareholder standpoint is going to be all the information we got today from the proxy statement, from the annual shareholder meeting, from everything else that is going on. That's the more important information. And so to kick things off from a long-term fundamental standpoint, we're going to go right into Master Plan Part 3. There was a lot of very deep, detailed information in here, basically like what we saw at Investor Day about materials and what is needed to hit all of these goals. There wasn't a lot about vehicles, but we're going to break into some of that right now. So Omar over at Holmar's catalog says Cybertruck with a 100 kilowatt hour pack? No way. And so when we look at the information in here, this just breaks down what they need for batteries for transportation. So again, one of the things that I look at when it comes to all this information they give us is the details are great, but what are the subtle things that aren't actually said that actually tell us a lot of information? So let's break this down here. Vehicle types. We have compact car. Of course, we've been talking about it. They have denied the fact that it is a compact car, but hey, guess what? Compact car. Tesla equivalent, TBD. Is that going to be the mini Model Y? We shall find out. And of course, looking at this, it's going to have the LFP, which we had anticipated, and then it's going to have a pack size of 53 kilowatt hours. That is very small. So looking at that pack size makes me wonder if it is that CATL battery that is now coming out and has been announced, that M3P battery. Next up is the mid-sized, which we already know that's the Model 3 and the Model Y, also taking the LFP. We've got the commercial and passenger vans to be determined. Again, Elon last year, right around this time, had tweeted out talking about a highly configurable van. So I have a feeling that is what is going to play into this here. That is going to basically take the same battery pack as the Cybertruck. That goes into the next one. That is the Model S, X, and Cybertruck. Also a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack. Next up is going to be the bus. This is also a TBD, which Tesla now apparently is telling us they plan on coming out with some sort of a bus. So this is going to be a bus, and this isn't like a mini bus. This looks, based upon the next two here, short range and long range tractor trailers, basically the semi. This is telling me that they're coming out with a transportation bus of some sort. So that's going to be coming out. Then the short range and the long range trucks. So the long range heavy semi that we have already, and then there's the light semi. So again, these are vehicles that have not been fully announced yet, but hey, guess what? They're on the radar. This is part of that roadmap. Now we look at the vehicle sales here, and Tesla breaks it down from a global standpoint. This isn't from a standpoint of Tesla themselves, and this is what they plan on producing. But when it comes to the fleet size, this is what the entire global fleet would be. This here is all based off of today. There are 1.4 billion vehicles globally, and annual passenger vehicle production of 85 million vehicles. So this here is based upon an annual number globally, not just Tesla. But again, Tesla would be producing significant amounts of these along the way. And so, again, looking at the fine details of this, that's the stuff that I look at. They didn't tell us about these vehicles specifically, but they're listed. They are there. These are things that Tesla is working on. Do we know when they're going to come out? Of course not. We, of course, know that they're working on the next generation vehicle. That is most likely going to be the compact car. That is most likely going to be coming out of Mexico, which they have let us know will be coming out of there. That's the next gen vehicle factory. And it's going to be that compact car. Again, we're probably going to be seeing that in volume production by the end of 2024 or beginning of 2025. This is what Tom Ju has told us based upon the information of they want to break ground within 3 months. They want to have the factory built in 9 months. Within 3 months after that, they will have production up and running. Shortly after that, they'll hit volume production. Now, speaking of Tom Ju, we've got the lovely Alexandra Tesla boomer mama coming out saying, page 43 of the proxy statement, Tom Ju has served as our senior vice president automotive since April of 2023. Mr. Ju joined Tesla in April 2014 and served in various operational roles before being appointed as vice president of Greater China, where he led the construction and operations of Gigafactory Shanghai. Mr. Ju also holds a bachelor's degree of commerce and information technology from the Auckland University of Technology and an MBA from Duke University. So officially now, Tom Ju has been named Senior Vice President for Automotive Operations. And this is something that we went back all the way to January talking about when we were hearing rumors about him maybe being the next CEO or whatever it is. I thought he was going to be put in charge of global operations when it came to production. This is basically it. So, this is where he's going. He has shown his prowess over in Shanghai. So, it only made sense for him to be put in charge of that operation on a global basis. And also from Alexandra breaking out her information about JB Straubel, going back to her Substack from January 26th, when we were all talking about the board of directors and who should go on there, and there was all sorts of turmoil of who should be on the board of directors, she said her preferred candidate remains JB Straubel. She does not see anyone more suitable on the horizon. And guess what we found out today? He has been nominated to the board of directors. That is one of the things that we can vote on when it comes to the annual shareholder meeting. And so if you have not received the email yet from Tesla for how to vote on this, I will get that link in the description down below so you guys can go and follow that so you can place all of your votes. There's a lot of different things to be voting on. One of the other things also is going to be the compensation package for the executives. So that's also in there. So go through all of the different things to vote on what you would like to vote on. But the board of directors and nominations are in there, and JB Straubel makes a lot of sense. For those of you guys who have been following for a while, my theory about what happened with JB Straubel leaving the company had to do with something longer term that plays into Master Plan Part 3. And what it comes down to is they knew that battery recycling was going to be a vital part of taking the world to sustainable renewable energy. When they were looking at this back in 2018, Tesla was still not profitable and they were struggling, going through production hell trying to get the Model 3 out. So JB left the company because if Tesla was trying to take on starting up battery recycling and trying to get the Model 3 out at the same time, they would have completely crumbled. But if JB stepped aside to do this all by himself, that was totally feasible, and Elon could focus on the Model 3 and getting Tesla up and running. But in the process, they knew full well they were going to come back together within the next decade. And sure enough, here we have JB coming back on, potentially as a member of the board. My thoughts on this take it to the next step, saying that Tesla is now going to be massively profitable, even more so than they are right now. You take this out another 3 years, we take it to 2025, 2026. Tesla is significantly more profitable than they are right now. They have a ton of money on the side. Elon has already said he's willing to buy other companies that make sense to buy. Well, guess what? Redwood Materials would make a lot of sense to buy. So if he's got JB Straubel on the board of directors and he's got a company that has been built up to be able to handle this, he doesn't have to start that company of battery recycling. We know that Tesla does their battery recycling now as well, but it's going to pale in comparison to what Redwood Materials does. So they can then buy Redwood Materials and have that being part of Tesla. JB Straubel steps in, and guess who the next successor is for CEO? JB Straubel. That's my theory on this playing out. You guys can let me know in the comments how you feel about it, but that to me makes a lot of sense, and we're starting to see those steps going in. And again, we know full well that Redwood Materials and Tesla are going to at least partner up in the future when it comes to battery recycling. All right, so that's all I've got for you guys today. Otherwise, if I went into details, this would be forever long. But again, tomorrow night, I'm going to go through some more of the details. We're going to have a live stream at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time as usual. So if you guys find any information you want to discuss, please bring it along. It's a lot of stuff to go through, so I know I will not be able to get through all of it. And that's why I love you guys, because you fill me in on a lot of the information as well. So tomorrow night, we will dive into a lot of this in detail and anything else that comes up tomorrow as well. Otherwise, you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of your support. Have a great one.